Part 37. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 366. When Wang Xian was awake from her dream, she didn't think it was a nightmare at all. Her boyfriend is urging Wang Xian every day, and in the dormitory, Wang Xian is targeted every day by the words of her songs. Under double pressure, Wang Xian became more and more irritable and more gloomy. She vented all her unhappiness in her dreams. Every day before going to sleep, she fantasized about Su Jiajia, and fantasized that she became a beautiful, smart, and good-looking girl with her boyfriend kneeling begging her, she didn't look back, and that Wang Xiao pursued her reluctantly. But such fantasies are not reality after all. In reality, Wang Xian was pinched on both sides without saying that her female classmates looked down on her. She said that she had laced her feet on 2 boats, and her boyfriend would obviously go after her roommate. She said that she was particularly hypocritical on both sides and that she was a stranger. For the girl, her boyfriend slapped her in the public and let her roll. Ever since she was small, her parents haven't touched a finger. Wang Xian cried all day in the dormitory. She didn't even know how to get to class. The girls who like to step down and climb up do not know how to talk about her. When Wang Xian was crying on the bed, Yan Jie also called her mother in bed to report her excellent deeds during this time, and how many boys in the class gave her love letters and gifts, which made her very distressed. Listening to these words, Wang Xian felt that her tongue was bitter. At this step to her, Su Jiajia has harmed her. Su Jiajia's white lotus is pure and innocent in front of others, but in private it is a wonderful black lotus. This woman also slandered and rumored her, always saying bad things about her, otherwise she would not be mocked and ridiculed by her classmates, suspected by her boyfriend and about to dump her. When this idea came out, it grew like crazy in Wang Xian's heart. Why is she so miserable, but Su Jiajia can still be good? If Su Jiajia died. If Su Jiajia dies, her boyfriend won't force her to take Su Jiajia out of school, and those classmates won't laugh at her because she chased down Su Jiajia. Just right. It's cheap to make her die. On the second day of the class, Wang Xian's heart was more and more resentful with the ridiculous eyes of the students and the argument behind her. She left school on Saturday and did not return home. Instead, she bought paraquat on a very remote street where crops were bought and sold. Of course, she also bought some flower seeds as a cover. Paraquat, she checked, this pesticide is particularly poisonous, people will not die immediately after drinking, they will be very conscious, but the internal organs are slowly losing their function. So I clearly felt the pain of dysentery and died in such pain. This pain will last a long, long time. People who drink paraquat by accident, even a little, can't save the hospital. Although Wang Xian heard the name paraquat from Yan's mouth, she deliberately went to Beidou once, and even the street where paraquat was bought was from Beidou. She dumped paraquat in the juice bottle on the road. Not all, she only poured a third, and the remaining 2/3 were still juice. In this way, no one can see it. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 367. The smell of paraquat was very heavy, and Wang Xian felt dizzy when she smelled it, so she poured her perfume into a bottle. Finally, the pungent smell of paraquat was suppressed. Wang Xian felt that no one would look into her head just to find time for Su Jiajia to drink the juice and then pour the juice into the toilet. Pleasantly, the blessing of the roommate murder in the presence of her, she began to pay attention to these things, so she thought she had learned countless experiences in this matter. When Wang Xian returned to the dormitory, Yanj was asking questions by the desk. In such hot weather, although the room was air-conditioned, it was still very hot. Wang Xian put the juice bottle on the public table, and he put his face in his hands, saying it was hot and hot. He just reached out and unscrewed the juice bottle, and turned to the bathroom to himself, wash the face first, drink more water. Until she entered the bathroom, Yan Ji's gaze stayed on the bottle of juice on the table for a moment. Wang Xian's own food and drink will never be placed on a public table, probably because she is afraid that Yan Ji, the earthworm, is stealing her valuable snacks, so her stuff will be collected in her snacks. In the cabinet. The chicken is boring, so I have been swimming with Yanj in the high school question recently. It was keenly aware of the strangeness of the words. Why, do you think that bottle of juice is problematic? Without waiting for the song to speak, the chicken said nervously, isn't it sulfuric acid? This woman wouldn't be so bold, would she spill all over you while you were sleeping? Yanj expressed admiration for the cub's brain hole. She still wants to live well, how could she do such a stupid thing? The chicken thought for a while, you are so young, do you think she is really bad for you? Although she has been irritating her recently, it is quite excessive, but I don't think she should be so irrational. Yum made no comment about the song. Wang Sheng contacted her again at night. Because the second day is a weekend. Wang Sheng asked Yan Song to go out to play. Jia, I do nt have time to go out, I am going to sleep in the dormitory, wash my sheets, wash my hair, wash my clothes, and my roommate goes home every weekend. She walks away. I am very quiet. Go out. Wang's Hishengzia, I ask someone to do it for you, and you come out to play. Allison, it's personal stuff, so you can't let others touch it. World of Wang's Hizi, may I touch it? Jia, this is a girl's dormitory. You don't have to think about it. It's completely impossible. If you can't even touch the door of the girls' dormitory, you will be knocked off by the housekeeper. The door to the girls' dormitory? Is he really unable to enter? Thinking that Yanj's roommate is not there, isn't this a good time to start? During this time, the woman always talked to him, maybe he had hoped that he could come to a bully and bow hard. Wang Sheng told his wave of friends who were going to steal incense in the girls' dormitory building, and they all agreed with him by raising their hands. Together, these people came up with ideas for him, how to enter the girls' dormitory building, and how to soften that girl. They also suggested that Wang Sheng bring a bottle of drink to cheer him up. The drinks in these populations are special things for girls. Girls will be very excited and let go, but afterwards, most girls do not remember what happened. Wang Sheng is the leader of this group of friends. Everyone follows his intentions. What he wants to do is to help people make suggestions. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 368. Wang Sheng's idea was completely refuted. So this matter, Wang Shengruo was just an idea at first, but after talking to his friends, this idea has been determined to be something to do tomorrow. Wang Xian's bottle of juice was kept on the table. She didn't go to drink the juice and broke the air conditioner in the room when Yanj went to take a bath. When Wang Xian washed his face with water from the water dispenser the next day, he deliberately took all the water, and then went home early. She knew that Yanj did not like to go out. She would spend the whole day in the house on the weekend. The air conditioner in the room was broken and it was so hot. There were no watermen on the weekend. She did not believe that Yanj would not drink the bottle of water on the table. On the weekends, there are not many people in the morning, and many students who leave school will return to the dormitory in the afternoon, so Wang Sheng arrived at the school early in the morning. In order to ward off the ant who gave up the house, he deliberately asked people to put a large heart-shaped rose under the floor of the girls' dormitory, and then let the person call Su Jiajia's name with a loudspeaker in his own name. Aunt Chi Shaguan was attracted by the incident to go and watch. Wang Shengli opened the door of the girls' dormitory building that came from her, and then entered the building. Wang Sheng has the key to Yanj's dormitory. It was early in the morning that he was brought by Wang Xian. Of course, today, he certainly wouldn't let people tell Wang Xian that woman. After all, from Su Jiajia, he also had a one-sided understanding of this guy who has no success or failure. Until entering Su Jiajia's dormitory, everything went smoothly. The room was clean and the girls' dormitories were basically the same. Wang Sheng saw the clothes on Su Jiajia's bed at a glance. Not only underwear, but also underwear. There was a gurgling sound of water in the bathroom, and Su Jiajia's humming voice could still be heard. Wang Sheng was hot all over. The room was hot, but he was hotter. But he didn't think much. After waiting so long for this day, he was not excited to be false. He was still thinking about Yan Ji taking a shower and seeing his surprise response. The body is very hot, so I'm thirsty. He held a bottle of red wine in his hand, but the red wine was fortified, and he would drink it for a while. The water dispenser was empty and there was no drop of water. Wang Sheng cursed lowly, sitting on Yan's bed, touching his fingers on Yan's underwear, and his attention was attracted again by these clothes. He was a little proud, and Yan Ji said last night that he couldn't touch it. Isn't he just touching it? Reached out and touched his forehead, all sweat. Why is this room so hot? Is the air conditioner furnished? At a glance, I saw the bottle of juice on the table. It's already unscrewed, maybe it's the song to drink. Thinking that this was the drink that Yanj touched, he felt a little wavy in his heart. Very thirsty, so when Wang Sheng picked up the juice bottle, although he really didn't like the smell, he poured his mouth as soon as he looked up. I drank more than half of the juice, and it tasted a bit bitter. He wanted to drink a little more, but suddenly his neck and chest seemed to be burned by the fire. The painful coughing sounded in his mouth. His hand holding the juice bottle was shaking, his soft legs were shaking, everything in front of him was shaking. After Yan Ji came out of the bath, he saw Wang Sheng who was unconscious on the ground and vomiting blood from his mouth. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 369. Yan Ji screamed, ran out of the room the first time, called the female student next door, made an alarm call, an emergency call, and a call from the school infirmary. Even on weekends, this event was quickly spread across the campus, not only the campus network, but also the school and class groups all talking about it. Wang Sheng is so famous in school. The girls he liked had never been asleep. It's the only one named Su Jiajia, who hasn't got it. Before hearing about the accident, Wang Sheng also placed a heart-shaped rose under the girls' dormitory building, which used a combination of roses of other colors to form the words Su Jiajia I love you. Although it was the weekend, he had a confession of Su Jiajia with a loud horn, and it was impossible for the whole school to know it. Before the roses on the lawn were cleared, people were lifted out of Su Jiajia's dormitory. Everyone didn't know it was poisoning at first, they thought it was Wang Sheng who sneaked into the girls' dormitory and couldn't get hurt by Su Jiajia's resistance. Later, it was transmitted by the girl in the girls' building. Wang Sheng vomited blood all over the floor, and Su Jiajia took a bath in the bathroom. She didn't know that a man had broken in. The police came quickly to protect the scene. Naturally, Yan Ji, the most direct witness, was also taken to the police station. However, this seemingly suspenseful thing quickly found out a cause and effect. Wang Sheng's phone contains his chats with his good friends, and the key in his hand was Su Jiajia's roommate Wang Xian. So it must not be Su Jiajia dating him. Moreover, the poisoned juice was on the ground. Although the fingerprint was extracted, it was still being tested, but when called, Wang Xian heard that Wang Sheng drank the bottle of juice, and his face was pale and trembling with affright. The members of the Wang family have not yet arrived at the police station, and the matter has basically come to an end. In the end, there are no results of those tests. From beginning to end, he has nothing to do with this girl named Su Jiajia. On the other hand, Su Jiajia is also a victim, because the bottle of red wine that Wang Sheng brought to the dormitory was mixed with ingredients, and even Wang Sheng's backpack was packed with some handcuffs and gags. If Wang Sheng does not come, the bottle of juice may be drunk by Su Jiajia. After all, the police also obtained evidence from the girls in the surrounding dormitories. Su Jiajia had beaten 2 glasses of water in their dormitory in the morning and said that Wang Xian had used up a bucket of drinking water to wash his face. And the air conditioner line was unplugged, and the fingerprint on it was also Wang Xian. Such a girl would have thought of her own roommate dead, how much hatred it was. This matter is a coincidence. If Wang Xian didn't put poison in the drink, Su Jiajia who was out of the bath would be strong girl by Wang Sheng who was heavily armed. Although none of these appeared, it made people shudder. The people of the Wang family went to the police station for the first time. They had originally settled their accounts, but they did not expect that the poisoner was someone else. However, they still feel that their children have always been obedient, and going to the girls' dormitory must have been attracted by these dazzling cheap goods that only know to drill into the eyes of money. Even if the conclusion hasn't come out yet, they are thinking about using their relationship to make these dazzling that hurt their son dead. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 370. The Wang family has a lot of power, and it is still very simple for them to kill individuals. But nowadays, there is such a big wave of public opinion and judicial intervention in the capital city. They may easily kill individuals outside, but it is still more difficult to kill people under the eyes of the police. The main thing is that in this police station, there is a small policeman who has been paying attention to Yanj. This little policeman has also been helping Su's mother in the host's lifetime. Speaking of this little policeman, he still had such a small relationship with his host. His name was Chi Chen, the youngest son of the woman that his host father followed later. After the divorce of Su's father and Su's mother, she followed a rich woman who not only became rich but also had 2 cheap sons. Chi Chen is one of Su's cheap sons. He could notice Yanj, mainly because Mother Su first came to Jingcheng when she received a phone call from Yanj. It was about her daughter. She was unfamiliar with Beijing, and Su's father was in Jingcheng. So, instead of wasting time, she went directly to Su's father. Father Su also wanted to help. His current wife must not be able to have a child for him. The 2 cheap sons had nothing to do with him even if they were excellent. In the future, Amitabha would not be targeted. Su Jiajia is his only daughter, and no matter how ruthless he is, he can't turn a blind eye. After all, now that he has money and a career, he has everything, and the only thing missing is affection. Especially his own daughter turned out to be so outstanding, completely unexpected. After learning that Su Jiajia was being held in the police station where Chi Chen was located, Father Su took the initiative to call his cheap son for the first time and asked him to take care of Su Jiajia. Chi Chen was very impressed with Su Jiajia, mainly because he and another companion were receiving the police at the time, and Su Jiajia also pulled him back to the police station. Unlike Wang Xian who cried out after learning about Wang Sheng's nervousness, Su Jiajia has been silent. No matter what he asks, Su Jiajia will answer, and the answer is very structured. Especially when she learned that the bottle of juice placed on the table by her roommate was poisonous, Su Jiajia's face was shocked, but she even asked, "How can the juice be poisonous? Wang Xian likes to drink that kind of juice. To be poisonous, then did NTI say that it's me? I am not so boring. I am beautiful and study well. I still have a good future. I also want to be a college entrance exam and become my mother's pride. I do NT need to poison." This said, the tone was resolute, without any panic. Police officer questioning Su Jiajia said in private, "This little girl is indeed a school bully, and her mental quality is really good. Psychological quality is really good." Police officers asked what was the relationship between Yanj and Wang Sheng. Yanj also answered very simply, it is a simple classmate relationship. He has been chasing me with a high profile, but I mainly study and always refuse him. No matter what the police officers asked, she responded very methodically without panic. It's a stark contrast to Wang Xian, who is crying from time to time and crashing next door. Police officers are very impressed by the fact that Yanj is so beautiful and not polluted by society. In addition, everyone feels that this girl is fortunate enough to escape this calamity. This is also a good ending for the wicked. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 371. Qi Chen also chatted with Yanj several times. As a police officer, he did not reveal his identity in front of Yanj. This girl is too quiet and has a good psychological quality, which makes him feel weird. Throughout this incident, coincidence is everywhere. It was also a coincidence that made him a little confused. However, whether it is Wang Sheng or Wang Xian, they are harmful to others, and naturally, he will not delve into the source of this doubt in his heart. He did find an excuse for himself. The girl has experienced divorce from her parents since she was a child, and has been able to secure her first place in the school. She has extremely planned her life and future in the conversation. For a freshman in high school, everyone else is playing Kegener, but she can keep her own heart and keep aiming at her goals. I have to say that such a school bully can't be justified by its poor psychological quality. The campus case, which almost sensationalized the entire internet, was soon concluded. Wang Sheng has been rescued in the hospital. Fortunately, paraquat has been mixed with the drink. Although he murmured more than half, he fortunately did not drink it all. Unfortunately, people who drink paraquat may stabilize their physical condition for a period of time, but they don't know when an organ of the body will suddenly start to fail. The Wang family even invited foreign doctors. Some of their family had money to help Wang Sheng heal. But in this matter, they must not let go of the person who poisoned their son. Today's law has a juvenile protection law. Wang Xian and Yan Ji are both minors. Although this matter has nothing to do with Yanj, the Wang family did not want to let go of Yanj's scourge at all. After all, there is no song, Wang Xian would not put poison in the juice, and Wang Sheng would not go to the girls' dormitory. They don't think there is anything wrong with their son, they think all the problems are here with Wang Xian and Yanj. But although they hired the best lawyer, they also sorted out all the materials. But obviously, the Wang family did not make much sense. So before things were decided, Yanj had already returned to school to attend normal classes. When it comes to court, because it involves minors, the whole process is not open to the public. Yanj was a more important witness, but she did not appear in court, and the judge's inquiries were broadcast in a recorded form. As for the Wang family's lawsuit against Yanj, it was because Yanj was a minor that he did not even need to appear in court and was directly represented by a lawyer. Of course, the main reason is that the Wang family's prosecution was inexplicable, and even the judicial officers could not see it. This kind of thing has nothing to do with the little girl. Obviously, it is your son's attempt to strengthen the girl, but the evil person will sue. Mother Sue was scared to death for half her life because of this incident. She wanted to make Yanj transfer to her hometown. Even if her hometown was not good, she could at least take care of it. Yan Ji calmed her, "It's okay, this kind of thing is not common. I'll be fine after I study at university. Don't worry, I won't learn bad, I will take care of myself." Mother Sue is still worried. She wants to resell the store in her hometown and come to Beijing to accompany her, but it takes time. So at this point, Sue's mother entrusted Yan Ji to Sue's father. Although the two were in a state of death because of the divorce of Sue's father at that time, but now, for his daughter, Sue's mother no longer wants to see Sue's father and has to go. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 372. Before Mother Sue left Beijing, she led Yanj to meet Sue's father in a small restaurant outside and introduced her identity to Yanj. As soon as Father Sue left, there was no news to go back. The host had no impression of this father. Speaking of his father, the host had only 4 words: different. With the deliberate encirclement of Sue's father and the detour of Sue's mother, even if the song was silent all the way, the meal was considered harmonious. As soon as Sue's mother left, Sue's father called Yanj on the weekend and wanted to take Yanj to dinner at home because his birthday had arrived. The host is cold to this father, and of course the song will not have any special affection for him. Because this guy made several phone calls, he even wanted his mother to persuade him. So Yan's song went. It was Chi Chen's speech. After getting in the car, the words of the song stared at Chi Chen several times, every time they kept talking. Chi Chen still said, "Yes, you've met me. I work at the police station." Words, "Oh. She certainly knows." Chi Chen narrowed his eyes and bowed his head, completely merging himself into the seat, and he felt that the girl didn't seem to be as quiet as it seemed. After all, it seems a bit pitiful helplessness now. He was a bit speechless and said, "How about at school? Has anyone bullied you?" After that, I felt that it was time for Father Sue to ask, if he had a relative who couldn't beat him, what would he say? Even if she was bullied, he wouldn't be too lazy. I study well. Yan Ji raised his head slightly, reached out and put the hair falling from his forehead behind his ears. Chi Chen glanced at her, and his eyes fell on her tiny round ears from the tip of her fingers. How can this girl answer like this? He smiled, "Study well, so no one bullies you." "Why?" Yan Ji gave him a glance, looking at an idiot-like expression. "There are many incidents of bullying on campus. You are a policeman, how can you not know?" After a pause, she said, "I study well and look beautiful. Even if someone wants to bully me, what about it? I don't care if they don't go well. They don't dare to go out. Even if they dare, there are teachers, classmates help me out." Chi Chen. He was surprised by the tone of the little girl's speech. It's natural that the old is in the tone. Is this what a little girl can say? Chi Chen was speechless for a while. He always knew that today's elementary school students are all very good, but in Yanj, he deeply realized this sentence. Is this a special student's words? At that time, students like them were fighting each other when they were upset. What makes them like this little girl in front of them, and such a meandering mind? However, it is also possible that a little girl can't beat others, so she can only try her best. Thinking about it that way, he was relieved. After all, this was a little girl who had no father and no brother to protect, and went to school alone in a foreign land. In fact, she was sad when she thought about this. So after a brief silence, he even said wrongly, "If there is anything you can call me in the future. The police station is close to the school." As soon as this word came out, he wanted to hit his own mouth. He didn't want to worry about any more. Yan Chen narrowed his eyes in surprise. "You don't want to treat me as a sister?" After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 373. Before Chi Chen responded, Yanj said, "No need, although my dad is your dad now, but I have never regarded him as a dad, and I will not have a relationship with you, and you do not need to make trouble. I'm a sister and I don't need relatives like you." After a pause, she looked at Chi Chen with a smile and said, "I'm talking too straight. Don't care about me as a little girl. I just want to say that I know you have a great career. You can rest assured that I have no need to attach in your mind. I look so beautiful and learn so well. I can win what I want." How confident is this girl in her own beauty, she pulls out from time to time. Chi-Chen inexplicably squinted at the little girl. Well, it looks really beautiful. No wonder the man named Wang Sheng pursued her so much that he even refused many times and didn't give up. He wanted to strengthen her in the school dormitory. Suddenly, it seems that a beautiful girl seems to have a hard time living. Chi-Chen sighed from the bottom of her heart. Like a girl who looks beautiful and smart, has a strong self-esteem and has not been taken care of by anybody, it may be harder to live. His voice softened unknowingly. Well, I didn't recognize you as a sister. I speak to you as a police officer. After all, as a police officer, I still care about your situation. After a pause, he also said, in our team, everyone is very concerned about you. If you have any questions, you can go to our police station for help. They laughed and frowned, and it seemed that at this moment there was a little girl's innocence and happiness. Thank you, you are so good, I will ask for your help when something happens. He looked at the dimple that was looming on her face when he smiled, and his fingers were about to poke, but in the end, he just squeezed the steering wheel. He suddenly understood the criminal psychology called Wang Sheng. Such a beautiful female doll seemed to be unwilling to disregard it. That school didn't know how many boys like Wang Sheng were. He was a little worried. She was sitting in the school is a well-known school in Beijing, there are many rich sons in the rich, she is such a little girl with no background, such a face is no different from a sheep entering a wolf pack. No matter how you think, she is in a dangerous situation. Yan Ji asked him, I heard that when Wang Sheng went to my dormitory, he was carrying a backpack with handcuffs and some ropes for binding people. When he went to my dormitory, did he want to force me to do me? Because he is a minor, many details of the trial will not be announced to the public. Therefore, few people know about Wang Sheng's affairs. He suddenly heard the question of Song of Songs and Chi-Chen froze. Such things should not have been said, but he nodded. After a pause, he also said, you need to pay attention to the accommodation alone. Now many parents have raised some bear children who do not know the heights. Although you are clever and well behaved, you can't bear many bear children and they will provoke you. Yan Ji nodded, thanks for reminding me, I will. She tilted her head, looked at Chi-Chen, smiled, her eyebrows were curved, her long eyelashes fluttered, her pair of black eyes were very glorious, you are so good, thank you. The little girl's eyes were too bright and thorough. Chi-Chen met her star-like eyes, suddenly a little cautious, he was not as good as the little girl thought. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 374. When he arrived at the Qi family, Su Shaoxing, the father, invited a lot of people. At their age, more parties were held to maintain and expand relationships. In such a gathering of guests, it is actually not suitable for him to introduce his daughter grandly. Father Su made Yanj come, in fact, he wanted to take this opportunity to let his daughter see the prosperity of this high society. As long as his daughter moved his mind, it would be easy for him to win over his daughter. So even though Yanj came in, no one was entertaining her. Those servants found that the song was wearing a sportswear, and it was still the one without a brand, and naturally they would not diligently greet the song. So Yanj was all around the crowd, like a servant's child messed up. Chi Song didn't care about this. Chi's garden was very large. These people held a party in the open-air garden. Yan Song found a quiet place to sit down, and took out his headphones to recite the English text on the mobile phone. She has experienced many planes and she is familiar with most foreign languages. But her familiarity is in the form of an old driver. She can speak it fluently, but she really needs to memorize these formulaic grammars in high school textbooks. Fortunately, although the host is not very smart, she is patient. Chi-Chen changed a set of clothes, and walked around with his elder brother and his mother along with Chi's mother, just about to turn around and go back to the room to talk with his elder brother, suddenly remembered, as if he had forgotten something. He frowned slightly, listening to his brother asking, "Isn't Mr. Su going to bring his daughter? Why didn't I see him introduce her daughter?" Chi Chen finally knew what was in his heart. He walked around for such a long time without seeing Su Jiajia's shadow. Where did that girl go? Chi Chen's footsteps were slight. His brother Chi asked him, "What's wrong? I remember you brought it back. How does Uncle Su plan to arrange it?" His disdain for Su's actions was dismissive. Chi Chen said, "Brother, go back to your room first. I remember there's something to do, and I'll see you later." Before he could make a speech, he had already turned around and walked away. Chi looked helpless at his back. Chi's mother died early. Chi's mother was a strong woman. She had been busy with Chi's career. Although Chi Chen was Chi's younger brother, she was pulled up by Chi with the of urine. So I've always been used to it. Chi Chen asked a few maids, and he almost wandered the large garden. He was about to go to the security monitoring center. As soon as he turned around, he saw the Song sitting behind an acacia tree. Yan Song is memorizing English. The girl's voice was crisp and sweet, because Su deliberately lowered it, and she looked a little bit lingering. Hearing people's hearts is like being stunned by fluttering feathers. As soon as Chi Chen was about to get closer, he suddenly noticed that there was a man standing on the other side of Yanj. The man's name was Yu Wulang. Chi Chen knew him, and grew up with him. This guy later returned to study abroad with a layer of gold. He couldn't succeed, and he didn't want to go to work in his own company. Eat and drink. Chi Chen had a few meals with him. This guy brought a different woman every time. There were countless confidants around him. Everyone joked that he was a master of flower picking. Why is this guy not at the banquet, but here? After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 375. And the girl was so young, how did Yu Wulang look at her look? This Yu Wulang, why even such a little girl colluding, too little bottom line. Chi Chen frowned, about to speak out. Yu Wulang suddenly spoke fluently in English, "Beautiful little princess, I did not expect to meet you in such a place, it is like a miraculous fate arranged by God, I think I can help you learning English." Yan Ji turned his head and looked at the man who suddenly appeared on his side. She pursed her lips and didn't speak. Yu Wulang thought that her songs could not understand her American English, so she smiled and said in Mandarin, "I think I can help you learn English without having to go outside. I can help you. Honor." The Song of Speech sitting on the grass, looked up at the man in front of him, smiled slowly. Chi Chen's angle happened to be that the sun was shining on her face, and her features were brighter and brighter. Especially her smile, seemingly naive and brilliant, but he saw a little irony from the corners of her slightly raised lips. Yan Wei smiled, and Yu Wulang was a bit foolish. He was about to reach out and pull Yan Song sitting on the ground, but Yan Song said to him in French, "A pretty and beautiful princess like me, do you think you are qualified teach me?" Yu Wulang didn't understand it, but he understood it. The words were in French. He could understand simple French greetings, but he didn't really understand such long sentences. The Song giggled, and spoke it again in German, Japanese, and Korean. At the end, I used more authentic American English than Wei Long to say, "Sorry you didn't pass my assessment. You may not be able to help me. This is an honor, and I never believe in God." Ha 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 laughed loudly behind Yu Wulang. Only then did Chi Chen realize that two dead parties were hidden behind the bushes not far behind Yu Wulang. The two guys came out from behind the bushes, and one learned the words of Wei Long and said, "It's a fate arranged by God to see the beautiful little princess." The other said with a soft voice, "I don't believe in God, I believe in Jesus." The words were off and it was another laugh. Yu Wulong deserves to be a master of flowers. Even at this time, he is still smiling, squinting his eyes slightly and saying, "This is my two friends. Don't be afraid. They are not bad people. Don't know what your name is?" Chi Chen quickly walked a few steps past and said to Yanj, "How to hide here to read a book? There is a study in the house, where it is relatively quiet." At the end, he looked up and greeted the three of Wulong, "Why don't you say a word today when I'm here? I'm still looking for you everywhere. Walk around, find a place to talk." Obviously hearing the intimacy in Chi Chen's words, Yu Wulong simply asked Chi Chen, "Is this your relative?" "No. She is my sister." The two responded together. This response is really interesting. The other three men looked at Chi Chen with a smile, obviously to see the excitement. Chi Chen patted the shoulders of Yan Ji, who had stood up, and introduced them. "It is my Uncle Su's daughter, and the little girl has just entered high school, and you have to call your uncles at your age. The first time you meet, don't give my sister a greeting." Yan Ji dragged Chi Chen's sleeve. "I do nt want to meet, I do nt have an elder brother, I am the only daughter, do nt mess around." When she was finished, she turned away and left. The ponytail, which was high, was shaken, and it looked really sharp.